You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here's your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
I am Glenn the Geek from Ocala, Florida.
And I am Allison Rehnborg in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where meteorites are literally falling. And you are listening to the monthly Equine Affaire episode of Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Thursday, October the 16th, episode 3798. This episode is brought to you by Equine Affaire. Good morning, Horse World.
It's the third Thursday of the month. That means it's time for the Equine Affaire episode, North America's premier equine expo and equestrian gathering.
Well, we're back with another Equine Affaire episode. 1 month from getting together in Massachusetts. And I know Allison is so excited because everything's done and she has nothing else to do for the next month. And she's just so happy and bored.
I wish. That sounds wonderful. Who is that, Allison? I would like to meet her. Yes, less than a month to go. We are all, we're going. It's going.
This is when Allison and everybody else over there is at their 100-hour weeks. See, this is when that happens.
Yes.
It doesn't matter for events how much time you prepare ahead of time. There's always that last-minute stuff that needs done. It just works that way.
Well, yeah. And there's some stuff that just can't happen until now either. I mean, so that's the thing. But like the problem is it's everyone else's last minute stuff too. And that's when it starts multiplying. And it's like, okay, wow, can we? But going, we're fine. We're a well-oiled machine. You know that. We'll get it done.
You'll get it done. No problem. What's coming up? Who's coming up on today's show?
Yes. So today's show is really good. I'm excited about it. Our first guest, Dr. Karin Bump. She's fabulous. You will love her. She hosts our college and career fair. She was not with us this past Ohio, but she's usually with us every few events. And she is great because she's really passionate about helping kids and non-traditional students find their way into working in the industry. And then our next guest after her is, I'm very excited, Gaby Reutter. She is our show jumping clinician. She is the reigning #1 female Chilean show. She's amazing. And you guys are going to love her. She'll be at Equine Affaire. I think it'll be her first time with us, teaching all about show jumping. And she's also a content creator. So she's got some cool stuff to talk about with us.
Very good. But before we get to your guests, we have a winner.
We do. We have a winner of the My Equine Affaire Moment contest. And that is, should we do a drum roll? Drum roll, please. Alicia Sobieski. So her full story, by the way, is up on our website. So you guys can go check it out. We've posted the whole story. We'll also have it in the program. But Alicia wrote this amazing story about her daughter, Angie, meeting one of the Whispery Pines Percherons, Tony, and just having an incredible journey with him where she basically grew up alongside him. She has all these pictures of hanging out with Tony year after year at Equine Affaire. And it was the best. It was an amazing story. All of them were amazing stories. I loved every single one of them. I read every single one of them. I wish I could give you all the weekend prizes. So thank you to everyone who entered, and every story you wrote mattered. And we're going to be sharing those on our socials soon too. But yes, Alicia and Angie were our winners. So they'll be coming to Equine Affaire.
And you know, I love that it involved a Percheron. So I'm happy about that.
Well, and her relationship with Tony led her to get her own Percheron.
Oh, really?
Bagel. Yes.
Wait a minute, a Percheron named Bagel?
Yes, his name is Bagel.
That's not the usual Percheron name, which is Tony and Joe and, these masculine names. I love that this one's named Bagel.
Bagel. And I asked her, where did that name come from? And he came from New York. And so I think the person who had him before them named him Bagel after the famous bagels from New York, and so the name just stuck. So his name is Bagel.
That's great. That beats Joe. I mean, how many Bertrons are named Joe, right?
Right. So, sometimes you just got to branch out and do something cool and memorable. So,
how cool for her. That's a very cool story.
Yeah.
Well, I know that we have some last minute stuff that we need to pass along for all of the listeners heading to Massachusetts in November.
Yes. If you haven't gotten your tickets, go get those. They're still there. There's general admission tickets, Fantasia tickets while they last. Just go ahead and snatch them up, guys, because, no
parking
guarantees
passes?
We won't be sold out. Yes, advanced parking passes. I mentioned them in our last episode, and that link is now live. So you can buy your advanced parking passes online. We'll put the link in the show notes, too.
Just saves you time when you get there.
Yes, it saves you time. I don't know if we're going to have like a whole separate line for those who bought advanced parking. I wish. That's really up to the facility.
Would go fast, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But it at least makes it easier because you're just literally handing them your sheet that says you bought it. They give you, it's a QR code, I believe, and then they hand you your pass and then you're through. So it's so much faster. So just go ahead and get that done. And then it's one less thing that you got to worry about when you get there. Yeah.
And what else do we have to share?
Yeah, people are always asking me, what are your tips? Like, how can I make the most of my visit? So I compiled a couple for you guys.
Okay.
So the first is, you don't want to carry a backpack around all day. What a drag. So bring a rolling suitcase or a wagon. We'll let backpacks in, but why carry it when you can just roll it behind you? And that way, all the stuff that you buy, and especially if you're going to buy a saddle, pop it in a wagon. Don't carry a saddle around. That's, ugh.
I love the idea of the rolling suitcase. I've seen a bunch of people start doing that now at the shows.
It's so
especially
smart.
if you're buying Christmas gifts, right?
Yeah. And then if you're flying, it's all packed up when you get home, and then you just, roll it onto the airplane. And then, of course, wear comfortable shoes. This is not the place to wear your boots.
Unless your boots are comfortable.
Unless you love walking in boots, but I don't.
Yeah, me either.
It depends, So wear comfortable shoes. You're going to be walking all day long. And some of it's on concrete. Some of it's on mats. Thank you, LRP Metting, our official metting. But, sometimes we have concrete. You're going to be standing up and walking. Be comfortable. And speaking of, Glenn can attest to this, but the weather is Massachusetts in November.
It's either going to be 70 degrees and beautiful or 32 degrees and cold and sleeting. It's going to be one of the two.
Yes. Yeah. It could mean anything. So wear layers, wear layers so you can warm up or cool off or whatever you need. I run hot. So I'll show up wearing just a very light jacket and everyone around me is like, what's the matter with you? And I'm like, no, I'm comfortable. You don't understand. But, wear what you're comfortable, no matter whether it's hot or cold, because the other thing is we heat those buildings. So even if it's freezing outside, you're going to be inside, just take your coat off. And then this tip, the next one is one that I have picked up from our attendees, but they bring pre-printed address labels with them to sign up for all the raffles at booths.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I think that's brilliant.
That's a good idea.
Instead of having to write it over and over and over again, just slap a sticker on that list and go.
I don't know about you, but my writing, you can't read it anyway. So that's a brilliant idea.
That too. Yeah. Especially if you've done it 10 times that day. So get a pre-printed, I get them in the mail for free all the time. So just grab those and slap them on a list and move on. And then this sounds self-serving, but honestly, if I wasn't in Equine Affaire, I would do this, but you can volunteer for 2 measly hours and get in for free for the day. I would do that if I could. Pretty good deal. So volunteering, if you don't want to pay admission, you got to come, you got to pay admission to get in. You go do your 2-hour shift and then you get reimbursed. That's pretty cool.
So they still are accepting volunteers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. At this point, if you didn't sign up early, you just come to the event, you pay to get in. You'll go to the volunteer office, you'll work your 2-hour shift, and then you'll come to the show office and get your money back. So pretty easy. And then also, study the overview map so you know which buildings are where. I have so many people at the event say to me, why don't you have signs on all the different walls of the buildings. And it's like, well, there's a lot of different walls on a lot of different buildings. And so like we have signs everywhere, but you can't have signs everywhere you look. So study the map, look for the signs, and then you know where to go. That's really my best tip. And as far as navigating, I think that that's a good one. And we'll also have the map in the program. And then my last tip is the most important one. And I say it lovingly because I am a nerdy introvert. Don't be a nerdy introvert. You got to go talk to people. You got to go, you say hi and go talk to people. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're just wandering around looking like a nerdy introvert. And like, I love you and I will come be your friend as a nerdy introvert and we can nerd out together. But like, you want to meet more people than just me. So yeah, be extra, put on your extrovert face, be a Glenn, go meet people.
Right,
Glenn?
Yeah, and you have to remember, most of those people who have booths and things are paying to be there to meet you. So they're happy for you to come over and talk to them.
Yeah. They want you to talk to them. They want you to ask questions.
All the vendors with the horses, everybody. Yeah, that's why they're there.
That's why they're there.
Yep. It's a good place if you're an introvert to go because everybody is there eager and ready to talk to you. So, yeah, that's what it's all about.
They're all thrilled. Yes. They're all thrilled if you can talk to them.
And I'm sure the listeners and auditors will be having a meetup too. They usually do. I don't know that I've seen anything there yet, but I'm sure they'll be working on that for all those ones that are going.
Yeah. Well, and I know Heather Wallace is going to be there for Adulting with Horses.
Okay.
Yeah, in our podcast. So like we already are going to have a contingent of hosts. I think a few others are probably going to be there. Susan Friedland.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know her.
Yeah.
So like we're going to have a lot of honorary Horse Radio Network people there. So if you are auditors and you are going, then have a meetup.
Yep.
Take a picture. Make Glenn feel sad that he's not in Massachusetts because he won't go.
I'll be looking for all the pictures. I'll be enjoying it through you guys.
Yes.
And I know you'll do a good job of posting a bunch of stuff so I can enjoy it too.
I will. That's me all the time.
Well, you know what else this means? It means that it's the fall. And what happens in the fall is your pastures change, and so do your horse's needs. Chewy has the supplements to support your horses through the fall transition, like vitamin E and ration balancers, targeted care for metabolic horses, and calming support for horses feeling fresh in the cool weather. We've had a few of those this week. With Chewy Auto Ship, you'll never run out of the brands you trust. Schedule repeat deliveries that arrive right on time every time. Plus, save big with 40% off your first auto ship order of equine supplements using code EQSUP. That's EQSUP at checkout to get 40% your first auto ship order. For seasonal wellness, for trusted brands, for fast shipping, there's Chewy. Visit them at chewy.com/equine. That's chewy.com/equine. Who's our first guest?
So our first guest is Dr. Karin Bump, and she is an educator, she's a consultant, and she is a lifelong advocate for equine education and careers. She combines her academic expertise, that's where the doctor part comes in, with practical insights to help connect students and up-and-coming young professionals with the right paths to help them fulfill their dreams of working in the horse industry. And this year at Equine Affaire, we are proud to have her. She'll be presenting multiple sessions on colleges and careers and heading up Under Hunt. So if you are interested in working in the horse industry, whether you're 18 or whether you're 45, this is the lady to listen to. So let's welcome Dr. Bump to our show. Well, hi, Karin. Welcome to our show. It's good to have you.
Well, hello. Thanks for having me.
And where are you calling from? You travel all over the country, but where are you today?
I am in Lower Alabama today.
Yes, the heavenly place. Well, heavenly location sometimes, not in the summer.
Yes, sometimes, right. Upstate New York in the winter, not so heavenly. Down here in the middle of the summer, not so heavenly, but it's great regardless.
And you just moved there from upstate New York, right? So, I mean, talk about, you like to do the swinging, the extremes of weather.
Yes, and I still have a place in upstate New York, so I'm really kind of split between the two places. So, yeah, I'm still a New Yorker in that sense. So,
yeah, well, and that works well for us because you're close to Massachusetts and you're not that far from Ohio.
That's
So
right. It all works out.
it all works out. So you are a familiar face and voice. You're one of my personal heroes, but you've also been at multiple equine affairs. You are our trusty equine career and college degree lady. You're the one who helps give lost kids directions. How'd you get into that? What made you go, yeah, I'm going to try to guide these kids to find their dream job or their dream college degree?
Oh, so thanks for that question. It is, I was a lost child myself. I often tell the story that I didn't know until much later in my life that my parents had the "What will we do with Karin" talk. Like, what will she do with her life? What will we do with her? And and when I realized that a career with horses was a possibility, I was a horse passionate kid. Like, I literally came out of my mom, and one of the very first drawings I ever did, which is really a scribble, my mom has labeled that I said it was a horse. And I didn't grow up with horses, so that was just, I think we get bit by it and it just never goes away. So I didn't conceptualize that a career with horses was even possible until I got into college and was pursued an agriculture career, and then realized that equine really was a possibility because I had a mentor that helped me understand that. And so for me, it's very much a passion project. I was college professor at a small private college in upstate New York, Casanova College, almost 30 years, one of the best programs around. Of course, the college did close, nothing to do with the equine program, but just, the dilemma of small colleges in the last couple of years. But, through that, my passion just never stopped and just continued to grow. This idea that you don't know what you don't know. And so you have a love of horses, a passion of horses, and you need somebody along the way that helps you understand there's so many opportunities and so many pathways and so many things to do things and so many things you can do that I get chills sort of just even talking about it now. It really matters to me. It is truly a passion project to help with that fit piece.
Well, and we hear it all the time, right? People think, oh, I want to work in the horse industry, so I'll either be a horse trainer or I'll be a vet. And that's it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. Yeah. And why do so many people fall into that trap? Because you just have to look around and you see all the different options. But and it's true. There's so many different ways you can do this. I mean, you don't work with horses hands-on. You're in the industry. I don't work with horses hands-on. I'm in the industry. Well, I think Glenn is a career all his own, but
mine doesn't count.
It counts.
No, but, it's another great example. Yeah.
Yeah, there's options.
Absolutely. I typically always start, when I do talks or meet with young people or adults or whoever it is, it's a $177 billion industry. Billion, with the B, and everything that goes in, on, around, under a horse, a rider, a farm, a facility, tracks, trailers, all of these kinds of things need people to develop, to promote, to market, to understand, to communicate. There's so many careers. And one of the reasons that I've always been so passionate, and of course, Equine Affaire, from the very beginning, when I floated this idea to Kogi, she's like, yes, let's try that. And now I can't even remember how many, years we've been doing this. But Equine Affaire is such a perfect place because people walk around, but they're blind to anything but the horse itself, typically in terms of a career. But anywhere you look, everywhere you look, and Glenn, my gosh, you think about social media marketing, the way journalism has changed, communication, all the things that are in that field. So if you've got a passion for horses, there is really nothing that I have found that you can't couple with equine in terms of a business or a career.
And with Allison and I mean, all of our friends are in, a lot of our friends are in the media side of things, but they all, a lot of them, media or marketing, and they all created their own jobs. I mean,
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
jobs, most of them weren't around, and
Mhm.
they just created their own. Now, I'm not saying that's easy. That isn't. And I'm sure you got people coming up to you today, teenagers saying, "Well, I just want to be a YouTube star." Well,
Mhm. Mhm.
that's a tough one
Yeah.
because it takes a long time and a bit of luck, and again,
Yeah.
1% out of 100% become YouTube stars.
Yeah.
It's not something you're guaranteed to get just by doing videos. So,
Right.
but there is. But let's be honest too. Most kids today, they want to work with horses directly, right? I mean, that's what they
Mhm.
want to do,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, sure, we all do. And I'm blessed that twice a year I get to be around all kinds of horses. But the rest of the time, I'm writing about them, I'm thinking about them, I'm
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
pictures or editing videos or whatever. But kind of a note to the career thing, growing up in a non-horsey family, I was the horse crazy kid, just like you. I knew I loved to write, and I was like, I want to be an equine journalist. There have to be people who write these articles in these magazines, right? Like who?
Right.
And I didn't know any of them, and I didn't know how to
Mhm.
be them. I was just like, that's what I want to be. And
Yeah.
so I would
Yeah.
tell people in high school, oh, I'm going to be an equine journalist, and I would even say a freelance equine journalist. I already
Wow,
had
look at
that
you.
part. And they're like, well, can you live off of that? Can you make money off of that? And
Yeah.
it's just like, I don't, we'll get there when we
Yeah.
get there. Don't bother me with that.
Yeah.
But, you make up your career
Yeah.
and then you find a way to make it work. And
Yeah.
now I do live, and I'm not necessarily writing for magazines all the time, but I just shifted laterally. And so we find ways to make this work. Now, I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
envious of the people I meet who are lawyers and accountants who have horses because they have the money to play with the horses, and we we work with horses, but maybe we don't have the money. But hey, you do what you love.
And they may be jealous that you get to spend the more time doing it. There's so many
Maybe.
ways, and it's for our industry, the selfish side of me is we need to bring more people into the industry for the future
Mhm.
and the health of our industry. So I don't know whether that's selfish or not, but from a futuristic,
I
we've
think
got to
that's
do that.
practical, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we've got to be doing that.
Mhm.
But that's not what drives me. That's sort of an
Mhm.
underlying little thing. What drives me is that so many times people are passionate about horses and then they stop out or drop out. I
Mhm.
think probably more people stop out. They're like really passionate and then they think they can't do something and they walk away, and then
Yeah.
we'll see them come back. But the horse industry is, again, so many opportunities, but they're hidden, or we just don't think
Mhm.
about it, or we don't make that connection. And very entrepreneurial. Again, if you have the passion for horses and then you have some other kind of skill or another kind of passion, and that's often a first thing I do with young people, trying to, because I do some one-on-one stuff with this,
Mhm.
what kinds of career fields might work. And you're right, they always start with the hands-on. But once you start kind of delving down and saying, well, what are the other skills or knowledge sets or talents or things that you have? Let's at least explore what that might look like. And the more you know, the more you know. So if you take the college route, again, almost 30 some years with students in equine degree programs, and in our case, it was a 4-year program. If you look at those students, I'd say 90 some % of them come in hands-on veterinarian, rider, trainer, barn, the things that are very visible. But by the time they graduate, we would typically find one of 3 routes. About a third of them would still very much have that hands-on passion. About a third would say, I'm going to do something with horses, but in a much broader way, not hands-on. And then, we would have a third that would say, I've decided that I want to have horses. I want to be a lawyer, but I want to have horses, right?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
college, of course, is for a lot more than, just a career. It's, it's all the other things that you do. But once you realize how vast the opportunities are, it's a total game changer from what you what you came in saying, this is what I'm going to do, and what you leave saying, I think this is what I want to do. And it's not because what you came in wanting to do wasn't possible. It's that you realized there was so much more that was possible.
I'm glad you brought that up, because we have a lot of friends who thought that they wanted to have the hands-on with the horses, right? They started that job as a working student or a trainer or whatever, and they discovered that doing it full-time was a job. And the horses weren't as much fun as they thought anymore, because it was a job. Yeah. And they went back to getting another job and having fun with their horses. Because when boarding stable is a perfect example. We ran one with 20-some horses. We didn't have time to ride our own horses. We were running a boarding stable.
It
took some of the fun out of it, because we were, yes, we were playing with horses all the time, but you're also dealing with people and budgets and money and all of the things that involved in running a stable like that. And it took some of the fun out of it. And some people just decide, hey, I'm going to get another job, have the money to have the fun. Right.
Yeah. And that's and that's fine too. That, the thing is that they stay in the horses, that they realize there are lots of ways to do it. The other thing that's really interesting when you think about where we are today, and I just had a conversation with someone about this yesterday, we see people who when they retire, quote unquote, a lot of people really retire these days, but they go, well, now I'm going to start up that horse business. So I have a friend of mine, a colleague who was in the sort of firefighting kind of business. And I've had a police officer friends. And when they have done their service and they've retired from that, then have started a horse training business or a rescue or a therapeutic or an equine assisted service, that they've come back and now are doing that passion project business. So again, no reason to step away from horses.
Well, and even if you do, like Glenn was saying, you decide, I don't want to work with the horses, but I want to go do another job and then still stay in the industry, you're still a valuable part of the industry.
Oh, you're the one that pays the bills.
Right. You're the one who get us paid.
Absolutely.
And that is it. So it doesn't matter whether you're working in the industry or you just want to own horses and be part of the industry. That's valuable in all the ways. And so we do, like you were saying, we need people on both sides of it. We got to keep investing in our new generations of people and pulling in, the horse kids whose parents were horse people, but also the people who are horse crazy kids in the non-horsey family. And both of those come to Equine Affaire. And I think that's what's so cool about your career and college panels that you offer, where you're speaking to them, and your networking workshops that you've been trotting out these last couple times. Because it's like, oh, this is perfect. We're here at Equine Affaire. Let's go learn a little bit more about this. And you're right also in that it's a good location, because you can point to the massive trade show, all the people, like everyone's there, the support staff, the hands-on staff, we're all there. And so it's like, do you find that the kids and the parents maybe walk away from your sessions and go, oh yeah, I do see this is possible.
Oh
maybe this is possible.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think even more so parents, the young people, have this passion, and oftentimes the parents are like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't even know if I should support it. Is this crazy, or what could it be? So certainly a goal I have when I'm talking to parents and guardians and family members is to help them understand that it really is a business. It really is an industry. And by the time we get done and I go through the, everything that's on and around and over, and there's marketing and sales and promotion and outreach and research and, and you name it, they go, oh, wow. Okay. So it's not just about riding horses. They're not going to be, cleaning stalls and living in a cardboard box. There's real opportunities here, and they're much more likely to go, okay, now how do I help them find the right path? Because there's lots of different education tracks, and everything's about education. And it's, we have learned much more, particularly after COVID, about, we're much more likely to say, hey, listen, it's not all about the 4-year degree. It's not all about the college track. I'm still, of course, a huge believer in college for all the other things it brings with it. But there's certification programs, and there's all kinds of ways that you can do this, but really dialing in and understanding just the fact that it is real. It is real. You can actually have a career that has a passion around horses and in all kinds of different shapes and forms and all over the US and abroad.
Yeah. So if you want to learn more and come see Dr. Bump in person, her career and college panels are going to be offered at noon, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of Equine Affaire. And those will be in the Equine Fundamentals Forum. And so, Dr. Bump, what can people expect to learn from you when they come see you? What are you guys going to cover this year?
Great. So we're on the panels. We've got professionals that are going to be joining and talking about their careers and their career fields. And, that's everything from nutrition and sales and pharmaceutical to entomology and journalism and photography and, just a wide range. So hearing from people in a variety of different fields and different experiences about where they got to where they are and what they're doing. So really excited about that. Then we also, each of those days will kick off after those panel discussions, we'll have a 1 to 5, what we're calling an exploration track. So during that time period, individuals will have a form and they can wander around. We've got about 50 stops throughout the buildings of professionals who are there and available to answer questions about their business, their industry, what they do. And if you make certain amount of stops, I'm not sure how many yet, usually it's somewhere between 10 to 12 of those, then you can earn a reward, and that reward is a discount in the Equine Affaire souvenir shop. So we're really excited about that. Also a little special prize for the first 15 completers every day. And that's something that's great because you can do it at your own pace while you're doing all the other great stuff. You're wandering around anyway, but it's where else are you going to have this opportunity to hear from and actually interact with that many people and that many different career fields. And then each of those days I also offer 20-minute one-on-one sessions as space is available. So if you want to spend a little individual time with me talking about careers, your interest, we can schedule that as well.
Perfect. And how can they do that? I think, we might have a link on our website for it, but also if they want to reach out to you, what's the best way?
Sure. So the best way would be to email me. So it's DR for doctor, and then it's K and Bump. So you can always remember you bumped into Dr. Bump. That's a good way to remember that. So dr.kbump@gmail.com. And I know that information's on the website too. So just email me is the best way. Let me know what day or days you're going to be there, and then I'll let you know what time or times I have available, and we'll go from there.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This is a fun I always love chatting careers with you. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Look forward to seeing you all soon. And yes, please come to the Great Equine Affaire. And I hope to see you so we can talk careers and education to get there.
And our next guest is Gabriela Reutter. She is our show jumping clinician at Equine Affaire and the reigning #1 Chilean show jumper in the world. Gaby moved to the United States when she was 18 to study economics at NYU and develop her show jumping skills. At 22, she became a professional show jumper, and that means she jumps the really big stuff. She has competed all over the world, Europe, Mexico, Canada, Brazil, Argentina, and her home country of Chile. She earned a bronze medal in the South American Games in 2022. She is part of the Chilean national team, and her aspiration, which I think is awesome, it's put on her website in big letters, is to become the second Chilean woman ever to compete in the Olympic Games in show jumping, and the only woman since 1972. Oh, and did I mention she's also a popular content creator on Instagram and TikTok, so you've probably seen her. Please help me welcome Gaby to our show. Well, hi, Gaby. Welcome to our show.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and you're down in Florida. Well, you're based in Florida, which is not far from Glen, but today, where are you calling us from?
From Tryon, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Been there, done that.
What are you doing there this week?
I am horse showing. I brought my 4 horses. I have one in the 2-star, then I have a young one, and then I have 2 other ones doing national classes. So we're here for 2 weeks, and then we head down to Wellington for the season.
Yeah.
And for full time, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no big deal. Just 4 horses, jumping the big stuff in Tryon. My life. I'm glamour.
True. Oh my God. It's like not as glamorous as it looks for sure. I look and feel disgusting right now. I slept about 4 hours, full of horse sweat, but we have fun. So.
And then in the middle of all of that, she has time to be a social media celebrity too.
I have time in quotation marks.
Yes. So I already said this in your intro, but like you jump the big stuff. You are a professional show jumper, which is just like
Yes.
an amazing career. We've been talking about careers all episode. Here we go. But then you're also a content creator. You've got almost 100,000 followers on Instagram and over 100,000 on TikTok. And did you ever, was that the plan? How did you become a content creator on top of everything else amazing that you do?
Well, thank you for your kind words. So, no, I did not expect it at all. I always, even since I was a kid, I did little skits and would present to my parents and sing songs and want to be on a little spotlight. So I think it's been coming. I did a lot of theater for some time. I wanted to be Shakira. So I think that, having an outlet in the art sector was something that has been brewing. And then when the whole social media game started, I basically used to do the same thing every professional writer does, which is have a very professional curated Instagram that shows results, shows the horses,
boring,
shows everything in perfect polished condition. But for some reason I started to play around with TikTok around the pandemic. And I started posting random funny things that would happen in the barn, playing around, just hanging out with my horses. And then people really seemed to enjoy it. And then they were also asking me riding questions and advice. So I kind of started mixing between having fun and doing these funny skits with my horses, and at the same time posting educational stuff and teaching people about horsemanship, about horse riding, horse care, all these things. And it started blowing up on TikTok. And it got to a moment where I was like, look, this life is not super perfect. We're all trying to pretend and seem like we have this perfect, polished life on the horse. And it's not true. So I was like, I'm just going to show everything, my whole life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the funny, everything that happens. So I stopped doing a curated Instagram and started posting whatever I wanted to share it with people and have fun with it and bring some lightness and fun into a sport that at times gets very serious and gets, put with a lot of pressure and gives off a lot of anxiety. And people started to really respond to it and really appreciate it. And it just kind of happened.
Well, and I love that. It makes you relatable and it makes it seem possible. Because you're so right. We see you at your very, very best. You're jumping the giant fences and your horse is perfect and you're perfect and you're polished and turned out. And that almost makes it seem unattainable. But then if you're being down to earth and saying, yeah, hey, that ride, didn't love that, feel feel not so good today, or whatever, that just makes you more relatable, and it makes people probably feel a little more inspired. It's like, oh, I can be like her. I could do the hard work. I could try to do this. And I think that's such a cool, inspirational kind of path that you've laid there, because everybody wants to be you someday. So
I don't know if that's true, but at least if I help a couple of people, that would be a success for me.
Well, and I think, people bitch about social media and stuff and all the negatives, but I think that that's one of the positive things it's allowed is to see the non, in magazine articles, all we saw was the polished stuff, right? For years and years and years, that's all we had. Now social media allows you to see everything. And I don't
Yeah.
think that's a bad thing sometimes.
No, no, I don't think, as long as, you're authentic about it. And I think part of that, of showing the struggle and making it known that it happens and it's real. It started with a blog that I used to have that was called My Right
Mhm.
and Balance. And I would post, all of my frustrations because I do a lot of journaling. So I would just write down what I wrote in my journal. I would just post it and be like, look, today I had this really awful round. Like this happened, this happened. This is what I'm going through. And people started to say, oh wow, like you always see like everything so perfect, and that only happens like 10% of the time.
Right.
And a lot of the
Mhm.
other stuff that happens we don't see, like the time we spend with our horses, like how we care for them, like all of this stuff that is so much more important, and the reason why we're doing the sport. It's not, or at least for me, it's not just because I want to go in and compete. I love that part, but I have to love the horses because the competing part is only going to be successful a small percentage of the time.
Do you mean to tell me that professional riders' horses are stupid and do stupid stuff too and hurt themselves and all of that? They're not perfect either. Is that what you're telling me?
No, horses are horses. I mean, whether they're a 5-star horse or a backyard horse,
Yeah, they're always
they
trying
all
to kill
have the same
themselves.
DNA.
Yeah, that's right. I don't care how expensive they are, they all have the same tendencies.
They don't know. Like, they don't know how expensive they are. They only know how we treat them.
That's
So,
right. So if I'm going to put my foot through the stall wall, I'm going to do that whether I'm worth $1 million or 10. It doesn't matter.
exactly. Fact. Like, it's so true.
Well, speaking of horses, tell us about your horses. So are these your 4 personal horses that you're there in Tryon with?
Yeah, so I have 3 from my string, and I have 1 sale horse that I got. Rocky is the one that I've had the longest. She's been with me 8 years. She's the one that I went to the South Americans and got a medal with. We've been international together. We've jumped up to 5 stars. Now we're focusing more on the 2-star, 3-star level, but we actually have the Bolivarian Games that are coming up at the beginning of December. So that's super excited. We just got announced as part of the team, which I actually haven't
Ooh.
posted about. So
Oh,
news.
congratulations.
News. So that's Rocky. She's 15, so she's older, and I know her like the back of my hand. So that's,
Yeah.
my girl. And then I have Juice, which is my 5-star horse. He had a small injury at the beginning of Wellington. So I'm kind of gearing him up again. So we're doing, the 135s, 140s, and slowly going back up. But he's been feeling really good, so I'm very excited. He's 11 this year. Or 10, no, 11. And then then I have Chili is the sale horse, so he's 8, and I've just been developing him, and I'm hoping to hold on to him as long as I can, but he's there to help us pay some of the other horses. So, but we don't tell him that. We tell him he's just a special. But he's awesome. I honestly wish I could keep him, but part of this is, having some turnaround.
Yeah.
And then I have Kenji, who is 7 years old, and he's this big gray with a lot of blood, he's like, like this big bloody horse. So he's been hard to work with because he's very sensitive, but he's also very big. So at the beginning, I was very intimidated. But now we've built a very good partnership, and I'm hoping he's gonna, be my championship horse. So we'll have time to develop him.
And which one of them enjoys the TikTok or Instagram stardom more?
It depends on the video. I kind of pick who I'm gonna use. Sometimes, like for the last one I did, where it's a dance and like my horse's head is my head, Rocky has it pretty nailed down. She just will rest her head, which also relaxes her pole, so she loves it. And then I'll just hang out, and she's literally sleeping on my head while I'm dancing. That's funny. Then, like, Chili is just adorable, so he can do it all. And, Kenji is super handsome. And Juice, it depends on his mood, because he'll like, yeah, okay, like, I'm down for this. And sometimes he's like, nah, not today. Go pick someone else. So.
They have their personalities, right? They're just like,
Yeah.
you know, oh, that's so funny.
Exactly. And I'm not going to push them.
Yeah.
Like, if they don't want to participate, like, fine, like, if you want to do it, great. If not, that's not part, like, if it's fun for them too, and it's an activity, great. If not, then we're not doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that. So we're really excited because you're joining us at Equine Affaire next month. And this is your first time with us? Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Oh, so exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
So have you been as an attendee before, or is this like first everything?
No, it's first everything. I've heard great things, but I've never been.
Oh, it's going to be fun. Okay, this is even more fun. So now, do you teach often at expos? Like, is this something new for you, or have you been sharing your knowledge in like settings like this before?
I've never done an expo with like a full-on audience. So to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous about that part. I've done clinics. I did my first small clinic in Wellington in April, and then I just finished a clinic with 13 kids, a 3-day intensive in Panama about a week ago. So that was, pretty intense. And but it's not a full audience, it's the moms, the dads, like whoever, people from the club or the farm that want to watch, but it's not an audience. So that part I'm a little bit nervous about.
Oh no, it's going to be awesome. Everybody's going to love you. Yeah. So you're doing, I think, 4 ridden sessions, and then you're doing one about your life as a marketing professional and an international writer. And so you're kind of going to get to go do all the things. You're going to do clinics, and you're going to be in front of an audience, like without a horse. But we're so excited to have you. And what are you looking forward to? Gosh, I don't even know what to ask you because it's your first time, but what are you looking forward to most about it?
I think I'm super excited to meet people from different disciplines. I'm also super excited to teach the students that I picked. It's hard because, it's 4 sessions, and I'm doing one that's more like flat work and poles for jumping, another one that's gymnastics, another one that's a course, and then one that's for like rideability. So it's a little bit of everything. And it's hard because when you just have one session with someone, you can't really build upon it. But it was really great because a lot of the people signed up or wanted to sign up for more than one. So I was able to get, like, for the full course and the second day, there are students that I will have the day before. So I did that on purpose so that I would be able to, follow up, and kind of they'll get, even more out of it because we'll be able to build on how we prepared in the horse the day before. So that was on purpose. And I was very happy to see that a lot of people wanted to do more than one session, especially, and could do more than one session. So I'm super excited to see how that goes. And I think I'm also, I'm just excited to meet people. I'm planning on doing some meet and greets at booths. So I think it's going to be fun. And I'm also excited to see other sessions because I think, we're always learning, and I'm always doing research. I'm always reading. So it's always really cool to be able to see other riders and trainers and see like what their methods are and what can I take from that and apply to my own training.
Yeah, that is one of the best parts, as like, if you're as a clinician or as an attendee who's just like only ever ridden one discipline, like it's so fun to watch them gain those benefits from seeing other disciplines. And like every clinician that I talk to, whenever I ask them, what are you looking forward to? They're like, oh, well, I'm looking forward to teaching, and I'm looking forward to this, but I'm also like, can't wait to go learn myself. And for me, I love when I'm walking around and I see other clinicians in other clinician sessions, like just sitting there, like casual in the audience. It makes me happy because that's part of Equine Affaire. It's education for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're the backyard horse owner or you're the, top tier show jumper, there's something to learn from everybody. So I love that you're already thinking that way. You're going to have a good time. I wish I was you so I could experience it all over again.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was curious, have you always wanted to do show jumping? Like, was that your ambition from the beginning, or what were you setting out to do as a horse crazy kid?
So I started riding when I was 4, and I actually started riding like retired polo ponies that they would use to give like lessons for kids. And it was a very much dressage based, like dressage slash, like having fun because you're a kid and you don't want to be doing like a super serious thing. So it was a lot of, group like sessions where you had to do stuff together and in groups and, mirror each other. And we did presentations and all of that was super fun. And then we got to, I think I was a little bit older, or maybe I was like 7. And then there was one day where there were 2 specific horses that would jump like this cross rail. And that was set up. That was, poles that were falling apart, standards that I don't think were actual standards. Maybe they were tires or something. And the trainer goes, okay, like if you guys want to jump, like you can jump this back and forth a couple times. And I was like, well, okay. And I jumped it. It was probably like 30 centimeters. Like it was probably the smallest thing you've seen in your life. But I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And then when it started like developing more and I started riding more, there aren't really like the facilities in Chile where I'm from in Santiago, like they're all either show jumping or dressage. There's very little of other disciplines. Western isn't a thing. Like we have our own like huasos, which are like the cowboys in Chile, but it's not really like full on discipline. It's more like a lifestyle. So when you go for lessons and stuff, you either go to do like show jumping or you go to do dressage, and most of the people do show jumping. And I had jumped once a couple times, so I was really excited about that. And since I started going to lessons at 8, it was from then on this is what I want to do. And I saw a competition which I thought looked huge, and looking back was probably like a 110 or something. And I was like, I want to be doing that. And then I found out that show jumping was in the Olympics, and I was like, and I want to go to the Olympics. And it's been like that ever since.
That's awesome. And that's what you want to be, like, do someday. That's your aspiration, is to be the second Chilean woman ever to compete in show jumping. And then the only woman since 1972.
Yeah.
That's crazy. A big dream. I bet you can do it though.
It's the plan.
I love that. That's the plan. I love it. So we're about out of time, but I just thought I wanted to ask you, what are your best tips for the kid who wants to be you someday? Like, what would you, if you could go back and talk to little Gaby, what would you tell her?
I tell her that to be prepared that this is not an easy sport. It's going to be full of frustrations, but all of those frustrations come with things to learn, and to be very patient with herself and to let herself make mistakes, not try to be so perfect, because, horses aren't perfect, and that she can do it, that she can, complete her dream and keep being as resilient as she is. And that's the same thing I would tell a kid. I would tell them they have to be patient with themselves, and that this is a sport that we do it for the love of the horse and then for the sport. And I think that's very important.
Absolutely. I love that. All right. Well, how can people follow you? What are your handles? How can they learn more about you?
It's very simple. Gabriela with 1 L dot my last name, which is very hard to say, but it's Reutter, but it's spelled Reutter. And it's the same on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and YouTube. So very simple. Gabriela.Reutter.
Perfect. And we'll put those links in the show notes too. And if you guys want to come meet Gaby and learn more about her and show jumping and all kinds of cool stuff, then come to Equine Affaire next month. We'll all be there November 6th through the 9th. Well, that was an awesome show. That is our show, at least until Equine Affair is here, which is happening in, I don't really want to count the days. So,
What are the dates in November?
Yes, November 6th through the 9th is where you will be able to find me at the Eastern States Exposition as part of Equine Affair. That is what's going on. November 6th, it's coming up way too fast, but I'm very excited.
And of course, you can find all the details at equineaffair.com. Click on the Massachusetts one at the top there, and you'll find all the hotel information. All the information is on there if you want to volunteer, what's coming up, the programs, the whole thing. So go to equineaffair.com right now. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel too. And during Equine Affair, Allison, where's the best place for them to follow all of your cool stuff you do?
Yes. So I would say the Facebook and the Instagram, I will be posting all day long. I'll be sharing stories from our attendees and the stories. That's always the most fun part for me. But yeah, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We might jump over on TikTok because we do have a TikTok. And the handle on all three of those platforms is at Equine Affair.
Very good. And of course, if you want to listen to past Equine Affair episodes, you can do that just by searching Equine Affair on your podcast player. There's a separate RSS feed just for the Equine Affair episodes away from Horses in the Morning. So if you just want to listen to past ones of that, which there's a lot of, you can search that way. And you can also still find all the past episodes on your Horses in the Morning feed as well. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and have fun at Equine Affair.